We've got this new platform called Practice Better. This is our first time actually using it for an event. We'll be using that for all of our client communications going forward, even if it's phone calls or one-on-one Zoom or meetings like this, text messages. It handles all of it and keeps it all in one place. So it's going to be much more organized. We'll be able to help more folks, which is important because there's more people who need help. And we're just starting to train practitioners and health coaches as well this year. Wellness whispering is one of our terms of art. We've got a website, wellnesswhispering.com, that has lots of cool information about some of the technologies we use that are voice-based and also subtle energy, biocommunication-based. So we can work with the intelligence that runs the show in the healing field. Well, not in the healthcare field, because it's not exactly a healing field, but we want to make it into a healing field. And this is our answer to that. Wellness whispering is a term I use for the subtlety of biocommunication. It's about the voice. It's also about the electromagnetic biocommunication in the body. As I study deeper and deeper into how that all works, because it's amazing, we see why the two are the same. Because collagen, which is the connective tissue in our body that connects at the cell membrane of every cell to every other cell, it's actually a fiber optic network. We're familiar with that technology and how amazing that is to carry light-based information in the world of the web. The body has that already and has inside the cells as well that connects at little eyes in the cell membrane rafts to communicate inside the cell to the microtubules all the way into the nucleus, the DNA. Light-based communication is not just for the internet, it's in your body. And that's how your body is able to coordinate all the different systems, the 10,000 different chemical reactions happening every second, millions and millions of reactions, but 10,000 different pathways, so that it all works together to produce what we call syntropy, the opposite of entropy. Entropy is disorder, disharmony, how the body breaks down with aging and disease. Syntropy is the natural function of the body to grow and develop and also to heal. Wellness whispering is how we approach listening, understanding, and then acting on our understanding of what the body is trying to do. Because it can only heal as well as the resources at hand, internal to the body and in the environment of the body. So accelerated self-healing is the goal. That's our term for the process, because we recognize that all healing is self-healing. I can't heal you. Well, I can participate, right? I can communicate with the intelligence in your body and interpret that and feed that information back to you so you have better guidance, a better map for your healing process. But the actual healing is done by the spirit, the soul, guiding the actions of the physical material body. It's a very different view. The overall context is accelerated self-healing. We're going to be working in a container we call Healing Oasis. healingoasis.practicebetter.io. That's our new container for our practice. The contents we're looking at right now is the main contents that determine your ability to heal. Your availability of time, your needs, and also the funds. Because some things we can make free. We love doing that because we believe everyone should have the opportunity to heal as much as possible. We believe in open source healing, medicine, and science. There's the connections between these, depending on what resources you have and don't have. If you have time and needs, but you don't have funds, that's where this program today is looking into the do-it-yourself aspect, how we can make the systems available to the whole world. We invite you to share this opportunity with other people that you care about to learn how they can access the systems. We're talking today about wellness whispering for accelerated self-healing. The context is accelerated self-healing. That's our goal, because when your body has everything it needs, everything it's looking for from the natural environment for its healing, materials like nutrients, phytonutrients, energetic frequencies, quantum energies, and information and meaning, then it's able to accelerate self-healing to at least 13 times faster than it was healing before. So it's going to keep up with the healing that the ongoing damage and aging and degeneration processes to be able to heal those in real time and actually go back in reverse time, what we call retracing and healing, going back to older issues that weren't completely healed in the past, so you can catch up on past unfinished business and reverse aging processes, reverse degenerative processes, even though textbooks still say they're irreversible. In science, nothing can ever be proven to be impossible. You can only have evidence of possibility. And I've proven for 40 years that the things like blindness that the textbooks are teaching are irreversible or not irreversible. The container we're in is Healing Oasis at Practice Better, our new platform, so we can help more people more efficiently and make lots of free resources available we're going to look at today. The contents of what you need to be able to heal. You need time to be able to focus on healing if we're busy and stressed all the time. Actually, half of the toxins in human tissues are the metabolites of stress neurotransmitters and stress hormones. So taking time to relax and heal is crucial if you want to maintain function, extend not just lifespan, but health span. And then we have particular needs for healing, what we're trying to heal, symptoms and diagnoses and loss of function, maintaining future function. Everybody's needs are different, unique. We all have different amounts of time, different needs, and different funding available to handle those. We want to do the best job that we can for everyone rather than a one-size-fits-all. Here's our program. Oh, so sorry, most of the world can't afford it. If you have the funds, we can do a lot more, but let's do whatever we can. So if you have time and you have needs, that's the first connection between these different dimensions of resources. And that's where we're at today, talking about the do-it-yourself level of healing, so we can minimize the cost for professional time, which often is the biggest portion of our healing process. If you have funds and time, then everybody has needs, so it's not really outside the needs circle, but done with you obviously takes some funds and takes some time. It takes our time, it takes your time, but we have some great programs that are done with you programs. And done for you, you might have somebody who has such a busy schedule, they've got plenty of funds, but they don't have time, so we can help them to heal as well. And also, we're now offering certification for those practitioners or coaches or people who want to be coaches to get certified in the accelerated self-healing technologies. That's super important because, again, Ray and I can't personally work with everyone in the world, but if we train other people, then even when we're gone, we can help people that way. We're here to communicate about all those distinctions, especially the do-it-yourself. We have lifetime access to courses, free courses in the platform. We'll be adding other courses that we've already done in the past, but it'll take a little time to get those added. We're in a group right now. Group programs are great because we can help a lot of people minimize the time and expense on our side, so we can offer that for free like today. And then we offer lifetime access to scans. Probably many of you already have an account with E4L is the new name for NES. Used to be Nutri-Energetic Systems out of London, England, and now they're called Energy for Life. We're going to go into depth on that. These are wellness scans you can do in 10 seconds anytime you need to. And then remedies are always going to cost money because it takes materials and time and energy and funds to put those together. But we have some of the best, I think the best remedies in the world, because we were looking for the best remedies in the world, using them for 30 years, getting great results. And about a decade ago, we realized we need to make our own certification. If you have a practitioner who is holistically oriented, open-minded, and what I would call a healer, or somebody who's not a practitioner, but a healer who wants to help heal people, maybe a coach who's helping to heal people. We're very interested in being introduced to those folks so that we can help more people. We want to get our system out into the world, not just from here in Hilo, Hawaii, but from many points of light. We're here in a course, in a group, and we're going to talk about scans for life and how you can determine what remedies would be appropriate for you based on those scans without having to pay for services. The context is do-it-yourself scan for what I call biofield analysis, analyzing the body's energy field, the biocommunication, which is an energetic communication system, just like the internet, but maybe it's the internet. So bioenergetic wellness scans is what they're called by the company that we make available to you. 10-second voice scans. We give you free access for life. Many practitioners will charge per test, but we make that available for free. The company is Energy for Life. This is the link to get a free account set up. The QR code takes you to the same place, truly VIP E4L. Anytime, just let me know if you need that link. That's where you set up your account. Once the account is set up, you go directly to the Energy for Life site. That's a one-time link. So you'll be attached to our practice as your practitioner. So that'll take you here to this page. You'll see my mug and you'll fill out the information and click the sign up button. You can scan as often as once a day. I recommend you scan anytime there's a change in symptoms or anytime you're wondering what's going on in your body or want to see what remedies you might need, or you're going to a health practitioner and you want to show them the scan to help give them additional information about what's going on for you. This is where you'll go once you have the account, portal.e4l.com. And you'll just enter your email address and password and log in. That takes you here. This will look slightly different than yours because this is our practitioner account. You won't have clients on there. But scans, which may be in a different location depending on if you're doing this on a phone, on a computer, on a tablet. You want to click scans, which might be in a different place. I'm impersonating myself as a client. You can see that scans now moved over to a different location. So look around for scans, click on that. That's going to open up, this shows I've done some scans on this account. If it's your first time, it won't show any previous scans, but you'll see this button here, BWS for Bioenergetic Wellness Scans, voice scan. You can scan without voice as well. If you have a child that's very young, not verbal, can't count out loud from 1 to 10. If you have someone who's nonverbal, somebody who's in a coma, a pet, cats, dogs, and horses specifically, we have the software to show their scans on the right kind of graphic. It will work for other mammals as well. It just won't be the right picture. Here we are in the portal. Once you've done the scan, and there'll be directions on screen to go through that step by step. You're going to give access to the microphone in whatever device you're using. It's going to say click here and then count from 1 to 10. It'll show on screen 1, 2, 3. If you're not saying it at exactly the same time, that's okay. The idea is we're looking at frequencies, communication in your voice when you're saying the numbers 1 through 10, which aren't loaded with a lot of other emotional information, life information. It's just numbers. So it's just the background, the basic frequencies that are happening in your body unconsciously. You're going to click to look at the scan, and that'll open this up, and you'll see along the top different areas. When you put your mouse over a particular field, like big field aligner, BFA stands for big field alignment, it's when there's an imbalance in the body field. Maybe somebody's got a cataract forming in one eye and not in the other, and that's throwing their field off energetically. A hip that's out, whatever it might be. Put the mouse over that, and you see the blue area that will show you a brief description of what that means. Your first time through, you're saying, what the heck is a big field? It's the overall body field. And if you click on that, it's going to actually change the entire page to give you even more details about that particular one that you clicked on. I'm showing, when you click that, now it changes to show the description for big field aligner. Now we're going to click on energy strength. You can always follow this video through to figure out the first time how to read these. We're on the energy strength page. This is the strength of the energy field in the different organs and tissues, different real fundamental parts of the body. From source, which is the overall body, but the body's ability to absorb energy from the field, which one of the main things would be infrared and red energy. We know our mitochondria absorb certain frequencies in the red and infrared. It's used in photobiomodulation therapies to activate mitochondrial energy production. When there's chronic degenerative issues, there's always low energy. Heart imprinter has to do with circulation and biocommunication from the heart to the cells. We get to cell, nerve, circulation, etc. We get into liver, kidney, the different organs and tissues in the body. So you can see the scan I did yesterday for this. Immunity is what my body's working on. Yes, that's true. The beauty of this is it's intuitively correct, and it leads you in the right direction for, now what am I going to do if I want to add something to what I'm doing to support my body in healing? I want to support my immune system right now. That's the key. Nerve is there at a level of 3, not a full level of 4. But yeah, because it's a root of a tooth that's inflamed, that's affecting my immune system. We're going to click on energy flow now. All these different parts of the body are connected together electrically. And that's called meridians in Oriental medicine. And that's how I first learned to measure these things, was measuring at the acupuncture points on different meridians to see, is the energy too high, it's inflamed, is it too low, it's degenerative? What does it take to bring it into balance? That's what I've been doing for 40 years, that help people restore vision that the textbook said you can't do that. I don't believe it. Neurotransmitters heart, the heart meridian is one that I could work on right now. Good to know. None of this is like, oh my God, I have a disease. It's not like a lab test where you're measuring the chemistry. We're measuring the energy, and rather different from a lab test where you're comparing your results to all of the other sick people that are tested in the lab and doing statistical analysis. This is analyzing the relationship of these different energies within you at that time. So if your energy is almost perfect, there's really no problem. It's still going to show you where you're using the most energy, where functions are the least efficient, where your body is struggling to try to do something, meaning it's missing some natural resources to help it work more efficiently. Very important to keep that in mind. It's not saying I have a heart problem. It's saying my heart's working extra hard, or my neurotransmitter systems are working extra hard. We're going to click on mind-body next. These are different parts of the brain stems, cerebral, etc. None of those are in the purple zone. We'll go on to the next area of brain performance. These are similar to meridians, but in the neurological system. Again, none of those are purple. You see down lower, there's some purples for ES3 nerve, ES9 audio, ES10 video. These are going to show up on other screens, on the ES, the STARS screen, which is the body systems. It's just saying this is relevant, this is related to this page. We're going to click next on energetic immunity, what we call terrains. These are mostly low energy areas, viral susceptibility. A virus has no moving parts, so it can't swim upstream to a healthy cell that has an energy field around it. It can only be attracted magnetically to low energy cells. And they actually have a function to detoxify the cells from heavy metals. We're not going to go into too much depth today. We just don't have time. But we will have lots of education available for you here on the site. This shows central nervous system, immune, and CFI is cold, flu, and immune, and general terrain. So I have some susceptibilities. You can hear in my voice, I'm coughing. It's not a big cough, but a little bit of something going on, cleansing. There's a flu going around here and on the mainland as well. And then next we're going to look at the stars, which is the body systems. The big picture, nervous system. Again, I know that there's stress in a tooth, the nerve root of the tooth. Audio and video, that's hearing and vision. That fits with my current symptoms. And then the next area, those areas I've covered are what we look into more deeply when we do a causal biofield analysis based on one of these scans. If you ever want that deeper analysis, we can tell you exactly which remedies are resonant with your system right now, which will bring your body into a state of coherence, syntropy, accelerated self-healing, where we typically see reversal of about a year of aging and degenerative changes in one month program. Here we're seeing specific body areas. It only shows the ones that are in that purple range of the higher stress zone. These would be areas you could work on with any kind of healing. If you work on things like pulsed electromagnetic field therapies, photobiomodulation, light therapies, microcurrent therapies, self-healing practices like tapping or acupressure or going to an acupuncturist, they'll be very interested to see what areas your body is saying it would like to work on. So we're going to go quickly through these other areas, but there's a lot there. I'm not going to show you every screen because you see at the top where it says homework and personal care, solvents, toxic metals, agriculture, food, mold, radiation. You click on each one of those, it's going to show you another screen like this. It's not an area that we look into in great depth, but if you notice that there's something on one of these, like Teflon, I don't use Teflon pans. If I did, and I read this, I might say, I'm going to stop using the Teflon pans, and especially if that's showing up week after week, month after month, many times. That's a big clue to track down a source of stress. So we're going to go to nutrition. Again, there's multiple fields here. At the top, nutrition fields, digestion and metabolism, sensitivities. Each one will open up a new page. And you see where it says vitamin fields, there's a drop down where you can go to minerals, other nutrients. When you're wondering, am I reacting to foods? You can go to sensitivities, you can go to foods, go to the different food groups, see if there's a particular food that's reacting, and then you can explore. Let me try diet free of that. I'm going to fast off of that food for a week is a good rule of thumb, and then reintroduce it and see if there's a change in symptoms without ever having to pay for a doctor's visit, like an immunologist or specialist. We click on life journey. This is more the consciousness, the life journey, the personal growth aspect. There's a whole free course you can sign up for in Energy for Life that will give you lots more input on that. And again, many different sub-menus there. Now we get to recommendations. So here's where we get into remedies that, in my case, are recommended. They're specific for my pattern right now. I could take these, and these are drops that you put in water called infoceuticals that carry those frequencies to remind my body of what to work on, to turn on the epigenetics of health and healing, turn off the epigenetics of disease and degeneration. We'll look at exploring what else can we do with that information. First, we can click here to order those, and you can also click on your cart on the Energy for Life site to order any of those that came up on your scan. And here's what the shopping basket looks like. You can view the basket, and there you can say, I don't want to order all those, I'm just going to turn off some and order some other ones. You can continue shopping. There's a lot available on the site. I guess I didn't get the screenshot in there. We can go into that another time. Then there's a new company, somewhat similar to us. I had talked to them about whether they could manufacture our products, and they don't manufacture other people's products, but they do have great products, and you can order them here, and it'll tell you which ones are resonating with your needs right now. It's called PRL, Premier Research Labs. Like us, they use violet bottles. Theirs are plastic, ours are glass. Our products are more concentrated, more comprehensive, but this would be the next best step. And sometimes, based on your budget, these might make the most sense to try. It shows which of their remedies would be appropriate for me right now. We can go to Premier Research Labs, and I've set up a short link for you, truly.vip/PRL, short for Premier Research Labs. That allows you to sign up. You automatically get an account under us in Premier Research Labs. What else can we do with that information? Here's our store, remedymatch.com. You see a few of our remedies at the top. There's over 150 now that we've made in the last 10 years, and we're upgrading them constantly. I make them in small batches by hand here in Hawaii. When we learn more, as we do more research, we upgrade and improve the formulations each time we make them. You can click in the upper corner, the little spyglass, put in, for example, the name of an infoceutical. My first one was EMF. I put in EMF and click the button or carriage return to enter that. Now it shows me this page, search EMF. Here's what's there. You'll notice the EMF infoceutical on the third line down, second one in, and a whole bunch of other things that came up for that keyword. Happens to be a keyword that we do a lot with. My first book that I put out to the public back in the 80s was Electromagnetic Pollution Solutions, because I learned that 1 out of 3 people, given the right remedies, still don't heal as much as they could because they're exposed to some sort of electromagnetic fields. And now, in the last 10 years alone, we're all exposed to over a quadrillion times more man-made EMF than we were. If it was a problem in the 80s, guess what? It's an issue. So we've got other resources, but we're going to click on the EMF product that showed up on the Nest scan, the E4L Energy for Life scan. We click to that page, and you see at the bottom of the page, it's going to show many similar ones to those that came up with EMF as the keywords. You can search by keyword if you have something you're looking for health on our site. Here it's showing some suggestions of products related to EMF. I'm going to say, oh, look at that handsome wizard looking guy. Looks like he's out of Lord of the Rings, in a blue hoodie that's a silver lined hoodie that blocks EMF from the environment for the head, for the main organs of the body, the arms. Let me check that out. Okay. Wow, interesting. Maybe I'm interested in that. I want to select my size. And by the way, they run a little large. I usually wear medium, but in that case, I wear a small. So I'd select small. And just a side note, if you've been watching the news, the silver price is going up rapidly, and then up and down, and then up some more. So if you're thinking of getting some silver-lined clothing for EMF shielding, this is probably the best time to do it before we make another batch based on the higher price of silver. You can click here, add it to the cart. So that's in my cart now. I go to the next remedy, and I've searched for it. I could search under ET0. I could search under CNS. Either way, it's going to find that infoceutical for the central nervous system. And again, at the bottom of the page, it's showing relevant products. This is all the thousands of hours I've put into making this system for you. Before there was a kind of artificial intelligence. This is made by real intelligence. So I look at brain cleanse. Yes, I used to have grand mal seizures until I took brain cleanse for a few months. I noticed I wasn't having any seizures. And then being a scientist, I decided to do a crossover trial, a single person study, and stopped taking it. After a couple months, I did have another seizure and said, okay, I'm going to take that some more. And I took it for a few more months, no seizures while taking it, and then stopped again to see, well, is that enough? Have I really cleaned my brain out enough of the mercury that was going to kill me in my 30s if I hadn't taken the amalgams out? No more seizures. It's been over a year now. So that's interesting, though, that my central nervous system still showing there's still heavy metals in there, making a low energy in some areas. It's something that I'm working on pulling out now. I'm pulling it out from the dental area still. Probably thyroid, because it stores at the highest level there. It stays longest in the lens of the eye. Beginning cataracts, yeah, that's probably the mercury too. Mercury can cause any symptom or any disease, just depending on where it is in the body and how much and what pathway it's blocking. So that's interesting. So I could put the brain cleanse in my basket as well. The next one on my list yesterday was for cold, flu, and immune. Yeah, Ray and I have both been saying, I'm fine, but I kind of feel like there's something, and we have clients here locally and on the mainland saying, I have the flu. We're handling it, but there's something there. I look at that one and I say, isn't it interesting? Yeah, I could take Shields Up or Spike Shield for viral types of patterns for colds and flu, but also interesting, that same blue hoodie that I like to wear, especially out and about, driving past cell phone towers with 5G and all that. I keep my phone off. I've been spending a lot of time on the computer here, so maybe that's where I'm getting some EMF on that first stress that showed. But also, I just looked it up, and 5G Advanced has been rolling out in 2025. So that's adding new frequencies. And when we look at the history of pandemics, from like 1918 pandemic, that happened when there was a new frequency technology being rolled out around the planet. It's never been shown in any studies that viruses actually spread materially from one person to another. There is evidence that at least correlates rollout of new artificial frequencies in our environment to triggering what looks like viruses, what we call viruses. About 7% of the human genome DNA is viral DNA. So it's part of us. It's not a living thing. There's a whole other world of understanding health and technology. So anyway, that was interesting. I might say I'll wear some more shielding. I'll work on my EMF exposure, especially when I'm exposed to more 5G out in the world. We don't have Wi-Fi in our house. We can pick it up from neighbors, but that's a lot lower signal level than if we had it in our own house. So then we go to ES3 nerve. And again, brain cleanse. Okay, I had already put that in my cart. It'll kill two birds with one stone, so to speak. And ES10 vision. Well, I was going blind when I started this project when I was 25 in my last year in optometry school. And now I have perfectly good vision, but there's some stress there, especially working long hours on computer. And you can see when it comes to vision, that's my specialty. You see lots of product options in there, and there's even more. Scroll for more. Oh, the therapeutic nightlight. Ooh, yes, I do use it, but if I didn't have it, I'd say, that's interesting. I can heal my eyes while I'm sleeping? Yes. Photobiomodulation, it's soft laser energy that goes through the eyelids because it goes through the skin. It heals the visible exposed skin of the face while you're sleeping as well. That might be something that I'd want to try. Therapeutic nightlight. I can click on it, read about it, maybe add it to the cart. And then there's my cart. Now it has three things that I selected. That's a big ticket order, right? $650. But two of those things I've been using since I made them and I'm going to be using for the rest of my life. The therapeutic nightlight's the only thing that's going to cost anymore. It's about $2 a year for electricity because it goes on automatically when the room light is low enough. It goes off automatically when the light's on. The brain cleanse, like I say, took that for probably a total of about 7 months, and that cured my grand mal seizures. So it's worth it. Our health is really the most valuable thing that we have because everything else depends on it. I see one hand up. Great. Kimberly, lovely.
Dr. Glen, thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate you taking the time and sharing all your knowledge. I know you're just full of great wisdom nuggets when it comes to health, so I'm always very interested and appreciative. How would one know if a whole bunch of things pop up for your particular ailment that you type in there? How do you know which are maybe the best top 1, 2, or 3 that you would want to start with and work from there?
It's a big question. It's a great question. That's what I'm doing every day for people, telling them this is the one, right? But there's lots of people who love shopping and lots of people who, if they shop with my services, they don't have money for the products they need. So it's a trade-off. That's why we're doing this. Intuitively, your body knows at some level. So I will be doing a course for this free level of membership that you can learn how to do things like muscle testing on yourself, to ask questions like, is this the best product for me? Oh, that's strong. You can all try this right now if you want to. Put your thumb and pinky finger together. It's called the Omura O-ring test from Dr. Omura in New York, who's healed a lot of cancer with natural therapies. It's the only patented muscle test in the world, and mine is a variation of that, but that's where I learned about it. You're going to press apart, if you can see it, maybe this way, press apart with your other thumb and index finger. You're holding it together strong, and pressing apart is at strong, or like Kimberly's doing. Another way is to pull. Can you pull through or not? And there's other ways as well, other types of tests, like with the index finger and middle finger. If you can do that, hold your finger out straight. And I know there's at least one person here who've already talked about it, he can't do that, but maybe someday when her healing progresses. You press down on the index finger. Does it stay strong or does it go weak? Another way is if you have a smooth surface, I'll pull up my cell phone, a smooth surface, and run a finger or a couple fingers on that surface. If it moves smoothly, that's no stress. And if I say, my name is Ray, no, but see, my name is Glen. My name is Glen. My name is Ray, it goes sticky. So a stick plate type of test has been used for lots of years and decades in radionics. And in chiropractic, they have a type of stick plate.
You can do a whole course on that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm planning to do a whole course on that. I've done a whole course on that, and we'll do that here live and make that available to you. That'll be a free course.
And I don't necessarily need to be holding the product to test that. I can just make the statement and test.
Exactly. So having the exact product is what I do here. When you get a product from me that I've tested, it's the actual bottle that's tested on you. And that gives me the exact information. But just like you could read a book about traveling to the South Pacific Islands and maybe see some pictures in there, and you'd have some information. If you actually go there, it's going to be another level of information, but you can still decide, I want to go to that island just by reading about it, even without pictures, right? So the body is able to communicate at many different levels. And if you think about the research from Japan, where they put a word on water and then freeze it and see the structure of the crystals, and how that thought form, that idea, that word, and the fact that there's people thinking about it and attaching it to that water is affecting the structure of it, it's affecting the information content. I encourage you to do that. You can do it shopping. People will wonder what you're doing, but that's where the one-handed is nice. You can just reach down and touch. And if you're within a centimeter of the object, you're actually in its field, it's in your field, so you'll get additional information. But even looking at it, you're getting information through the visual system. I had a surgeon who said, yeah, I know about that testing, and I found a way to do it that I can do in the hospital and nobody sees me doing it and thinks I'm weird. So he found a way with one hand. He took a clothespin, put a rubber band around the end to make it a little harder, a little more resistance, and he just keeps that in the hip pocket of his white coat. He can have one hand in there feeling yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. In Germany, this is related to what I learned about electroacupuncture, where we measure the acupuncture points. And getting that kind of feedback, it's a biofeedback, it's a biocommunication. The doctors who learn those kind of methods in Germany, they say in 1 month, they get a year's worth of experience, because they're asking 10 questions, getting 9 no's, and finding the one yes, rather than starting with the first one that would be a no and saying, let's do a clinical trial, and I'll see you back in a month, we'll measure, and we'll see if it worked. right? It takes so long. Well, we don't have so long. Time is one of our most valuable resources. It's placeable, even more than the others. Yeah, so great question. And if you love shopping, this is a perfect system for you, especially if you love shopping and bargains, because avoid lots of professional service fees and become better as you get healthier. My first mentor told me, as you get healthier, you'll be a better tester as well. You can use a pendulum as well. The first way that is often taught to practice these kind of tests is to say your name and a name that's not your name. Like I said, Glen, okay, that's strong. Ray, no, that's not me. Or yes, no. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Practice that a whole bunch and then try it on something that you're not sure and then test the results. Intuition is body information that rises to consciousness. When we take that intuition process and we actually use it in the world, the more we apply it, the better it gets, just like any practice.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
You bet. Who's got another great question?
Hey, doctor. Hey, I've been struggling with high blood sugar for years. And I've tried all sorts of various approaches, including obviously not eating sugar, which helps, but looking at various ways to clean the liver, do this, do that. And it always seems to help for a short period of time and then comes right back. So there is something that is persistent and just refuses to die. So how do I go about diagnosing something like this?
Well, from my perspective, we don't diagnose.
Okay, sorry for the wrong.
No, it's fine, because we want to understand what is diagnosis. Diagnosis is helpful, but it's not the real answer. It is helpful. If you're diagnosed, I want to know that. We want to know, okay, I have prediabetes, I have diabetes, I have metabolic syndrome, I have hypoglycemia. It's like a symptom. It's like a cluster of symptoms and signs that we put a label on and we say it's a disease. Well, what is that? It's an idea. It's not actually a thing per se. It's part of the body's function and structure. It's a description. It's really a category of description because there's lots of people with diabetes. Oh, there's type 1, type 2, type 3 is what we call Alzheimer's, and type 4 I call macular degeneration because it's the same deposits in the macula as we see in the brain in Alzheimer's, and the same kind of issues with sugar regulation, which is responsible for about a third of the damage to our cells with aging, even if you're not pre-diabetic or metabolic syndrome. So it's always an issue, an important function in the body, because again, a third of the damage, the other 2/3 of the damage in the cells would be oxidation, the main feature of aging, but glycation is number 2. The question really is, how do we not treat just the disease, which is an effect of some underlying cause that keeps coming back, but how do we orient toward the cause? And that's what we're doing here. When you do a scan, it might show pancreas as a stress area. It might show the spleen and pancreas meridian as a stress. It might show carbohydrate metabolism as a system that's under stress. But it's going to show whatever it shows. And some of those may be really an expression of symptoms, and some may be an expression of deeper causes. Maybe heavy metals, for example. Heavy metals affect the pancreas. Pesticides affect the pancreas. When we do the causal analysis, a deeper analysis of the voice scan, that tells me which of those are symptoms and which are causes. And we want to support the body to heal the causes. Keeping the diagnosis and the symptoms in mind, we may want to give support for those specific diagnoses and symptoms, remedy support, to slow down or prevent or keep working at trying to heal and reverse the damage, the changes. But only when we get at the underlying energetic causes is when we see then permanent changes. Like I had glaucoma. I found out at 25. By 33, I no longer had glaucoma because I took 14 large amalgam fillings out of my mouth that were leaking lots of mercury, off the charts on the electrical measures of the galvanic response on those fillings. And it was not coming out in my hair or urine, so it's not excreting it. It means it was storing in my brain, my thyroid, my eyes, my pancreas. My pancreas was actually the most affected. So if I hadn't done that, by now, almost 70, I'd probably be diabetic, or I would have actually died of a stroke in my 30s, is what I found out. I would have been blind in my 40s from glaucoma. It's really different than the diagnosis, which tends to be fairly stable. Oh, I have this condition, I've had it for years. When we start healing, we start retracing and healing backwards in time. I call it time travel. Healing is time travel. It's like an archaeological dig. If something like a heavy metal was deposited in the body, and then a pesticide was deposited in the body, and then a toxin from the colon was deposited in the body, there's your archaeological dig. And your access first is to the more recent toxin deposit, and then you dig in and you find an older, deeper one, an older, deeper one. And so from month to month, if you're doing a full accelerated self-healing program, the remedies that you need to stay in a state of coherence, to maximize that acceleration of the healing process, is going to change. It's rare that I've seen the same remedy come up. One comes to mind, the most consistent, was a teenage boy with learning disabilities, behavioral issues, so common today, but nobody knew what was causing it. Energetically, we test, we find out, one of the remedies that tested for him was a homeopathic for detoxifying petrochemicals. I talked to the family, I talked to the boy, talked to the parents, the grandparent. No clues really came out of that about their house, their environment, their exposures, whatnot. But then the next month, he needed the same remedy again. That's very unusual. Needed the same remedy again, I think 5 out of 6 months. And finally, just asking pointed questions again, like, is there anything that could be synthetic, made from oil, made from petrochemicals, that he's been exposed to in some major way that could have such a pileup that it takes him this long to get it out? And so they thought about it, and they finally came back with an answer. They said, could it be erasers? Erasers. Let's see. They're not made out of rubber from a tree anymore, right? They're synthetic. Yeah. What is it about erasers? Why do you say that? Well, when he was a baby, he loved erasers. I mean, not just loved erasers to play with, he loved to eat erasers. Any eraser he could find, it was gone. And he loved erasers so much, his grandma knew that and took him shopping one time and bought him a giant eraser. And he was in the back with the shopping bag on the way home. By the time they got home, half of it was gone. And the other half disappeared as well. So I just sat back. Yeah, I think that could be it. It's a good hypothesis. It works for me. Why would a baby eat erasers? It's an indigestible substance. Why do dogs and cats eat grass? Oh, they have parasites, and they eat something indigestible fiber to try to move it out. So that's my theory in his case. He probably had some kind of intestinal parasite, and this was the best thing he had available for his system to try to push it out, but it had a side effect of petrochemical toxicity. It's fascinating. It's like being a private eye doctor. The things that I've seen over the years have been truly amazing. Here's another one. A woman in her 80s who I was working with for many years to keep her out of surgery for both cataracts and glaucoma, because she had one surgery for glaucoma and had a very bad inflammatory reaction to it in both eyes. It's a thing that can happen because when you disturb tissue, if there's toxins there, they're released and the immune system can react, and the toxins are in the other eye. So she had sympathetic ophthalmia, which means she could go blind with any kind of eye surgery in both eyes, even if surgery in one eye. Keeping her vision stable kept her from losing any more vision from both glaucoma and cataracts for many years. This was when I was working with people still in person on the island here, as well as remotely. I was testing her and her husband. And 3 months in a row, on her test, she reacted to electromagnetic stress, kind of like my voice scan showed EMF as a stress. 3 times in a row. Her husband, no. They're sleeping in the same bed. They live in the same house. They're retired. They do everything together. How does she react? Well, she could be more sensitive than he is. Heavy metals will move in the body with electromagnetic fields, iontophoresis. Maybe that's it. But I thought, well, it's time for me to go visit them. So it's a long drive, beautiful part of the island. out in the country, nice little village where the people have very low stress levels. They actually visit with their neighbors and have tea in the afternoon and talk story. Wow, that's a cool place. It's like time travel. And so visitor house with meters to measure electromagnetic fields to see if I can figure out maybe there is something that we can measure. Turns out on her side of the bed, there's about a 3 milligauss field. Well, that's just enough to be considered a stress field. Even back in the 80s, we're bombarded by so much. 2.5 milligauss or so, that's going to disrupt circulation. It's going to disrupt immune function. Husband's side of the bed, no field. Oh, that's really interesting. So we measure above the bed, field goes down. Below the bed, field goes up. So it's coming from the basement, below the floor. Say, what's down there? Say, well, that's right where the water pipe goes. Okay, it's coming from your water pipe. Is your electrical system grounded to the water pipe instead of a proper ground? And maybe it's improperly grounded. There's a short circuit in your system, and now that's energizing the water pipe. Say, no, we know that our system is properly grounded. Say, okay, this is a community water system, metal pipes. It's connected to neighbors' houses. Your neighbor has an electrical problem. Their system's not properly grounded. It's energizing the pipes and creating a field, right? A field in your house, right where you're sleeping. My first thing was talk to your neighbors because it's affecting them even more. Stronger field. And they said, no, Hawaiian, Japanese culture, we don't do that. We can't talk to our neighbors about their problem. So they said, what can we do? They came up with a solution. They had someone come in, cut out a section of pipe as it came into their house and replaced the metal with PVC. And the field was, because the water's relatively low conductivity. So that solved it. You just never know when you're looking at where things come from rather than just what's the effect of it. A symptom and a diagnosis is an effect. We need to start thinking cause. We've got specific remedies that have been very helpful for people getting off of insulin injections, off metformin. We're not just using the remedies specific for sugar regulation. We've got 2 of those that are fabulous that have been critical in getting them off the need for the medications. But for the long-term effects, also getting at detoxification of heavy metals or whatever else it is affecting the pancreas. Again, heavy metals and pesticides, I would say, are the 2 most common key toxins in the pancreas.
Thank you, Doctor.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Larry.
I was wondering what the therapeutic nightlight is for.
I designed that for 2 reasons. First, it started with a biocompatible nightlight that you can put around your house so you don't have to turn on lights during sleep hours, because when you turn on a light, a white light, or if there's blue frequencies, that'll shut off the pineal, typically for an hour or even sometimes the whole rest of the night. The pineal won't make melatonin. Using red light at night is crucial. It also maintains night vision. You don't want to bump into things. You want to be able to see. So red light to illuminate the path between the bedroom and the bathroom. And then found I was able to have the therapeutic nightlight made where replace the white LEDs and a red filter with red LEDs, soft laser, specific frequency that we know activates the mitochondria. Red light will penetrate through all the eye tissues. The eyelid is the thinnest skin in the body. It'll go through skin of any thickness, but gets easily through the eyelids and the clear tissues of the eye. So it's activating the energy, cellular energy production of all the cells in the eye. It'll do that for the skin of the face that's exposed as well, but the eye was my main thought. And why do we want to have some red light while we're sleeping? You mean like our ancestors did if they had an open fireplace in a one-room cabin, or sleeping by the embers of a fire out in the forest? Or if you look at, I studied geology as well, the history of the Earth, 90% of Earth's history, there was no ice. We're in an ice age where ice caps come and go and continental glaciers come and go. But 90% of Earth's history, there was no ice to the poles. It was 70 degrees to the North and South Pole. And at those times, the best theory I ascribe to is that Earth was actually within the red glow of a dwarf red star, probably Saturn. They're finding many planets that orbit inside red dwarfs, red giants now. That's actually the optimal growing conditions. If you think about the growing conditions before you were born in your mother's womb, that's exactly what it was. We have red and infrared light, and even in greenhouses or in animal husbandry, if they want optimal growing conditions, they'll put a red filter around the plant or animal. We're just reproducing what we should have in a natural environment. If a green space, a park, a forest, an area of lawns, that green that you see visually, if you look with infrared, it's actually very bright. It's white in infrared. So in natural environment, there's lots of infrared. In our indoor environments, we used to have infrared when we used incandescent light bulbs, if you remember those. The ones that get hot, right? That's infrared. The cells are getting light, the mitochondria are getting light that keeps them active. Oh, but we decided based on engineering principles, not biological principles, that's waste energy, that's waste heat. So now we're living in caves with no infrared and very little red, and not the right frequencies of red, because we have LED lights that give certain frequencies that account for getting a visual impression of color, but they're not choosing those frequencies based on the frequencies that activate our cell metabolism. Same with fluorescent lights. They're spotty. There's light here at this energy and this energy, but not an energy that is broad spectrum or full spectrum like the sun. It's not an intensive therapy. We have developed a soft laser handheld that's more intensive, where you do a few minutes on the eyes closed with red and infrared. And we have people with macular degeneration who are just amazed at how quickly their eyes are reversing the deposits in the retina, restoring vision. And it works on all the other parts of the body too. With infrared laser therapy, soft laser, you don't do it with the eyes open, because the eyes focus those rays and you could develop too much energy in one spot on the back of the eye. So we do it with eyes closed, just to a level of comfort, and around the eyes, wherever else is needed. You have to be cautious with intensive infrared therapies around the thyroid, I think mainly because it does store the highest level of mercury, and also around the gut, because there's a high level of toxins in the colon that you can energize the toxins as well as energizing your cells. So you have to be cautious in those areas. Also with infrared therapies, even sauna, I think it's optimal to do it every other day, not every day, because the infrared does something else. It energizes the water in the body, and the water structures itself into what I call living water, the fourth phase of water. If you listen to the professor at University of Washington who's doing research on it and discovering and saying, oh my goodness, we didn't understand water, that it grows these layers of perfectly clean water. And it's really not even H2O water. It's not bulk water. It's H3O2 minus. It's a whole different chemistry. It's the type of water that forms ice. So water doesn't go directly to ice. It forms this structured or living water that then forms into ice. So similar structure to ice, but ice is more expanded, as we know. But it has a negative electrical charge, so it's a battery. It has energy that's quantum energy that's directly usable by our cell metabolism. So a cell that has energy, it's going to have this structured water inside and out, and any enzyme that's touching that water has immediate access to quantum energy to run the metabolism, the chemical reaction of that enzyme, as long as there's enough volume of that structured water. In my research, I find as you develop more of it, it structures on all cell membranes, on proteins, on DNA. Like with collagen that I talked about at the very beginning, collagen, when it has that structured water around it, it becomes functional as a light pipe, fiber optic connection between cells. And to me, this is the first time we really have a good explanation of why cancer forms the way it does. A cancer cell is a blind cell. A liver cancer cell looks like a cancer cell, not a liver cell. It doesn't see where it is in the body as it makes new cells to store the toxins from inefficient metabolism, because we know the mitochondria aren't working in those cells. It just makes another cancer cell. There was a woman PhD in Chicago recently. She wondered what would happen if she took cancer cells from one animal and they put it in a petri dish or in another animal to grow a tumor to study it in the lab. So I wonder what would happen if I put it in that petri dish, but I continually flush it, make sure that those cells are in a clean growth medium. And it never reproduced. Why? Because it's getting everything it needs. It's getting waste taken away. It's not accumulating waste and having to make another cell to store the sludge, the carbon-carbon bonds that aren't being broken down to release sunlight for cell energy. It never ceases to fascinate me the more I learn about health and healing and science and how this world works. There's so much that I didn't learn. My science education at Dartmouth, top student in optometry school and a naturopathic school, but still there's so much more that just makes a lot of sense out of the challenges we have and gives us new solutions, like healing with light.
There's a couple.
Oh, great.
One is about contraindications of the red lens.
A question about contraindications of red light therapy with intraocular lens implants. I am not aware of any. I will double check with some artificial intelligence just to be sure nobody else is talking about that. I'm going to ask Elon Musk, Grok. It's working really well for a lot of my research for science. ChatGPT just spins and doesn't know what I'm talking about. So it says, key findings. Standard IOLs, typically made of acrylic or silicone, do not interact negatively with red or near infrared light wavelengths, which is what I thought. With the MSO 5%, 10% eye drops, check with your eye surgeon first whether that's contraindicated. We use 1% in our eye drops, that should be fine, but higher potencies, there can be problems with contact lenses as well.
One last question about your thoughts on a LifeWave phototherapy patch.
Yeah, the LifeWave patches I highly approve of. I haven't used them myself, but I have plenty of clients who have used them. I've looked at the science and they're good. They're given an energetic stimulus to stimulate the body's healing responses. It's a lot like homeopathy or other forms of energy medicine, where it's communicating, stimulates, energetic, rather than a material effect. So they're non-toxic and they're good. They stimulate healing. Just looking at the research. Red light therapy is sometimes used after cataract surgery to aid healing by reducing inflammation and also to prevent or treat dry eye. We did it. Perfect timing. So thank you all for spending some time, and we'll be doing more of this on different topics. When something makes sense at the free member level where just everybody in the world could benefit, let's do that. Invite friends, relatives, people you care about, even people you don't care about. We should love everyone enough to want them to be healthy. Love to have you introduce me to your favorite healers as well. Coaches, we've got people who are essentially coaches, but they don't call it that. And they're unpaid and they just love sharing everything they learn with other people. Educators, health educators would be a good term. Caregivers, people are taking care of their parents or professional caregivers. These are all people that can help us to help more people. If there's somebody that you think of, let me know. You can contact me directly, email, phone. We're going to be trying to move as much of our communication as we can onto the Practice Better platform because it'll all be in one place. So at some point, we'll be reminding you, oh, please, next time, don't email me on my email me inside Practice Better. And I can respond in there and it'll keep track of it. It's got AI to help synthesize all the information from your history and communications. It's a good thing. It's a tool. Ray says, it's an honor to be on your wellness teams. Absolutely. And I'm hoping to become more of a community for those where that's a benefit. You're going through something and we have more people in there who become more helpful and knowledgeable. You'll be able to talk to each other and share information, and you'll be able to look up, is anybody talking about this? And we'll be able to answer questions as well, and also have coaches in there to answer simple questions that they know the answer to and come to us with the tough ones. Look forward to working with you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Mahalo, we say in Hawaii. We say thank you as well. And aloha, which means hello, goodbye, and we love you. Take care.
Aloha.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.